Hi guys, today I'm going to do a brief overview of the RF type approval requirements in Brazil. The telecommunications regulator in Brazil is ANATEL. ANATEL Resolution 715 is the regulation for conformity assessment and approval of telecommunication products, and products must be approved by ANATEL before being marketed in Brazil. Before we look at the route to approval, we will look at the parties involved in the process. So firstly, we have the designated certification bodies known as OCDs, who are a technical institution delegated by ANATEL to conduct the conformity assessment of telecommunication products. We also have the test labs which carry out the tests required in the conformity assessment process and to issue reports based on ANATEL technical standards. Then we have the local applicants, which must be a company registered in Brazil. Moving on to the conformity assessment models. There are several conformity assessment models depending on product type, which can be found in Act 2222, soon to be replaced by Act 7280, which is in force as of the 1st of June 2021. So we have a declaration of conformity, which cover product types such as connectors, declaration of conformity with test reports, which covers product types such as broadcasting equipment, certification based on type testing with periodic evaluations of the manufacturing system. This conformity assessment model covers products covered in Act 7280, including RF products. So looking in more detail specifically at the conformity assessment for RF products, which is certification based on type testing with periodic evaluations and evaluation of the manufacturing management system. The documentation currently required to be included in these applications are shown on screen now. These will be outlined by the OCD on project start. So looking at the process at a high level, the documents and product details must be submitted to an OCD who will draw up the technical requirements applicable to the product in question, and then this will be passed on to the chosen test lab. The samples must then be submitted to the test lab and test performed against the OCD technical requirements. Test reports will be issued and submitted to the OCD for review. Once the OCD are happy that the product meets the ANATEL requirements, they will then issue a certificate of conformity. The application will then be submitted to ANATEL for a final review and an ANATEL approval certificate will be issued. Once the ANATEL approval has been issued, products are included on the approved products database on the ANATEL website. So just coming back to Act 7280, which I briefly touched on earlier, which entered into force on the 1st of June 2021, this brings significant changes to validity periods for products such as mobile phones, access terminal stations, as well as mobile phone batteries and chargers, which will all have a validity period of 2 years, whereas these product types previously only had 1 year validity. For most RF products such as wireless and Bluetooth RFID, these will all continue to have a validity period of 2 years as they did previously, and for any products that typically had a permanent validity will now have a validity period of 3 years. In addition to any products previously approved by type test based certification without periodic evaluation shall remain with their approval certificates in force, if there are no changes to the product or that no changes arise in the applicable technical requirements. Moving on to the renewals now, the renewals will be carried out via local testing where safety tests were applicable in the original approval, and the process is very similar to that of a new approval. However, the lead time is a lot shorter due to less testing required. Samples will be then sent for local testing. The OCD will review the documentation followed by an ANATEL review. Note that the ANATEL approval remains the same after the renewal. So moving on to the labelling options now for ANATEL approved products, which is covered by Act 4088. The identification of an ANATEL type approval must be carried out using one of the following formats shown on screen now. If you have any questions or require any additional information, then please get in touch.